I can't state enough how nice it is, which is a funny thing to say, but how nice it is to have such a pure, unfiltered evil of a character that our MC actually reincarnated into and still has the complete possibility of becoming if she doesn't navigate the minefields. Every Otome game goes the route of being like, oh, here's these bully-like acts that they did, and they get killed at the end, or they get exiled at the end. But this one, you see these moments of, in the first episode or 2 episodes, we see a woman who, for the lulz, makes a little boy kill his mother that he misses so dearly, and puts him under such a command that he can never go against her. And she does it just for entertainment. And while this latest moment isn't as cruel as that, in my opinion, it still highlights how she is literally the second coming of Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I mean, you literally have her. We start this episode off with the premonition of basically saying, like, what would have happened had our girl not changed the future, right? Or if she wasn't currently in control of the evil pride's body. Because the idea that she's just chilling there, just watching, being like, oh, the captain's dead? He should have been better. Or, oh, you'll be captain now. Don't be as bad as him. But it gets worse the longer you watch, as they're all mourning the grief of the beloved captain, a father, a friend, an amazing warrior for this group of knights. And you can see the smirks. You can see that she knew it was going to happen. She had the ability to warn them of so many different things with her abilities, yet chose not to because it would be more fun to see them in grief. That's the type of character we're dealing with. The heir to the throne. And the fact that you're now putting such a sweet girl who is terrified of what she might become, that at every step of the way that she builds a new ally, the first thing she'll say to them, she'll whisper in their ear, if I become bad, kill me, slit my throat, make sure that I don't become this. And with the new character Artur, who is the son of the captain here, pretty much announcing that he will become a knight and he will do everything he can to protect her. Obviously, we know, this is like a potential new love interest. I mean, Stale was already pretty much head over heels, but the difference with Last Boss Queen to pretty much every other Otome game is rather than introducing a potential love interest as just some cliche, a trope, pick your favorite personality, the great thing about Stale or Artur is that they feel like people with their own character arcs, and it's not just because some pretty princess said they look nice. No, like, you can see why they're following her almost to the death, and I'm so excited for more. Now, full live reaction to today's wonderful Last Boss Queen episode is available on my Patreon if you would like to see my full uncut thoughts as I watch today's probably the best episode out of the 4, at least for me personally. I don't even think it's a competition. It's over there if you're interested. This is fantastic. And the first thing we gotta discuss is our new character, Artur, right? We fully get to understand who he is. And it's interesting because she confirms towards the end of this episode that basically in the game, the only one who's really tasked and capable of killing the last boss queen is Artur, who when he grows up looks identical to his father. Apparently his ability is pretty much crucial, which from his point of view currently apparently is something that's not really useful for a knight. So I'm not sure what that is, excited to see what they do, but I like the fact that they handle things so realistically. So a princess, the future heir to the throne, jumping into the middle of a battlefield. I mean, there's a lot of questions, but most importantly, how can you be so stupid? You're the heir to the throne, you're much more valuable than us, and they didn't brush aside legit criticisms. And it's interesting how there was no one right in this moment. Pride wasn't right. The captain wasn't right. No one was right. They almost came to a middle ground of seeing both the good and the bad of what just happened, but at the end of the day, they're just thankful that their captain is alive. The brilliance about this is how the captain is almost like talking about how, like, pretty much he wanted his honorable death, and the fact that she's much more valuable than him. And rather than just ignoring what he was saying, she took it to heart. There was a moment that legit sent chills up my spine. When she told them to, like, silence, the way she just said that, it felt the last boss queen seeping out of here. But no, it's her just really asserting her authority, and for, what, an 11-year-old girl right now? I mean, that definitely sent chills all throughout that room. The idea that she basically hammers it in, not in a cliche way, which I was going to be okay with, but I figured she was going to be like, well, think about your son, how crushed he would be. I thought they were going that direction. And instead, she says, you talk about how valuable I am, but you disregard your own worth. Pretty much saying, like, without you, all the future up-and-coming knights are going to be at a disadvantage without you leading them, more or less. And the way she gets through to these people, and the way she can connect with them, the fact that he didn't start crying until he saw his son announce that he wants to be like his dad and just basically thanking the future queen. it just feels like it's very human, right? It doesn't feel like we're playing an otome game, but rather they're making it feel a lot more like a real world. Often, honestly, every otome game anime that I've seen, I still feel like it's a video game more than maybe actual people in a real world. But what they're doing here, I look at the way Stale, or Arthur, or the Captain, or any of these characters are interacting, and I don't feel like, oh, we're just navigating romance flags or plot points. While yes, she does remind us what the evil pride would do, or had done before, but the idea that you look at these characters, their motivations, their beliefs, the fact that we, at this point, should have two people a part of a harem, and I can look at both Stale and Arthur and say, actually, their reason, their belief, a boy being separated and ripped away from his mother just wanting to escape, now has almost undying loyalty to someone who just tried to give him that hope and are doing so many acts of kindness. It's completely understandable why he would be so indebted to her, but also want to help her no matter what. Arthur looks at what should have been his father's death as someone who did something no other ruler would do, risk her life for a captain that could be replaced, right? These are moments and motivations that say this is why a friendship, why a potential romantic flag would be placed, but rather than making them some cliche character object, you actually feel like they're actually people. And the fact that I continue to look at, damn, this wench be evil, but I'm so thankful our current girl's here, but you still see the fear, the possibilities of who she can become, I'm really interested in more. The immediate comparison I thought of when I really started to see someone like Arthur start to kind of announce his loyalty was Lancelot from like King Arthur, The Tale of Merlin. Because Lancelot was always the most loyal of knights, the most devoted knight in a way, and I kind of feel like that's the characteristics and traits that we're getting from Arthur. It's very early still, but it kind of feels like that's the vibe I'm going to get from him, especially when he gets older. But either way, they're taking their time. They're not just throwing a billion male love interests, or hell, a billion female love interests if you're like Baccarina, right? No, they're taking their time, they're exploring things, they're criticizing someone for risking their life when she's so valuable to the realm, yet also not disregarding the feelings of others in a realistic way. It's just such a remarkable show, and I mean, there's just so many, there's like 4 or 5 brand new shows that aren't sequels or carryovers that I just look at and say, damn, this is anime at its finest, and I'm loving it. I absolutely am. But let me know what you thought down below, because this was a great episode, my personal favorite. Let me know how you're feeling about the evil female Dio and how she's correcting her life with this reincarnation plotline. Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos to the channel. Like I mentioned, full live reaction to today's wonderful Last Boss Queen episode is available on my Patreon. Hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout out. So today we have Missing No Leader, Tony X, Ted Pasick, Selgadis, and Thomas Abert. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.